Hey guys, Pickle here. I want to tell you about a new children's book hitting the market. It's going to be called Chubbs, The Search for the Golden Ball, written and illustrated by Alex Meir. The story is about Chubbs, the dog, and he's missing his favorite golden ball. Follow him on his quest to find it and learn with him along the way. A perfect story to reassure readers that asking for help is never a bad thing. Head over to www.atmartistres.com and get yourself this cool new children's book.
Welcome Average Joe Nation from around the globe. Props to you for staying up to date and keeping in the know. Fantasy football, man, very soon you'll reign. The knowledge that these three guys have, man, it is insane. Fantasy football talk, Hateful Eight, they wear the crown. Hold it down, Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli, hold it down. Pulling up to LB Design Studio, we're getting loud. Season 2, headphones on, red light go, break it down.
Welcome back to the Hateful Eight Fantasy Football Podcast with your host. I'm Pickle, and with me as always, Blackburn.
What up?
And Triboli.
What's going on?
This week, we mentioned some fantasy football news. Not a whole lot going on in the world of fantasy football, but we do have some, not much. And we also take you into the danger zone. Try not to pull a goose.
Or gander.
Or gander.
Ooh, I like that one.
Like that. With our 2018 bold predictions and not completely go down in flames. So we did pretty well. I went back and listened to the 2017 bold predictions show today. We were pretty spot on for most of them. Some of them were out there.
Mine wasn't.
Well,
I'm not going to mention any names because it's no longer with the show, but he went 0 for 3.
Thacker did go 0 for 3. Bless his heart. He tried. At least he did put out some good ones. It just didn't pan out. Sorry,
I'm
sorry,
kidding,
Terrell Pryor.
I'm just kidding, Thacker.
R.I.P. Terrell Pryor.
No, he's not.
Anyways, as always, don't forget to follow the show's Facebook and Twitter accounts at the Hateful 8FF. All right, on to the fantasy news and notes.
Fantasy news and notes.
All right, fantasy news and notes presented by Body Armor Super Drink, superior hydration for today's athletes. Check them out at drinkbodyarmor.com or your local convenience store. First one out the gate, it is Luck Watch. We've decided to create a potentially weekly little blip about Andrew Luck and if he is going to throw a real football. So let's get into that.
No, I've not picked up the Duke and started throwing it yet, and I don't want to skip steps. I'm trusting the process that I'm in right now very, very much. I'm trusting myself in this process, and when the time is right, I'll pick it up. There is a timetable, but I'm not going to share it with you guys.
Oh, man. All right, so QB Andrew Luck still not throwing a football, and we are, what is this, May 18th of 2018. So we are, it's got to be close to 500 days. At last I heard, it was like approaching the 500 mark. That's crazy. So, but despite that, as you heard, there was a little bit farther blip. I cut it off. But he says he's very confident that he will be ready for training camp. And that was per Charlie Casserly of the NFL Network. So I watched the news blip and him at the podium, and I mean he's saying all the right things. He's checking all the boxes, crossing his T's, dotting his I's. But I don't know, man. At this point, is it what's going to happen?
The Colts are confident that he's going to be back.
They
didn't draft a quarterback.
They moved
the draft.
out.
Yeah, so that just tells me that they're banking on this.
I just think they're too invested right now, so that's why they're banking on it.
I mean,
it's kind of like a hope and a prayer.
Well, they can't. There's no way anybody's going to pay anything worthwhile to take him in a trade at this point with the uncertainty. I really think, I hate to say it, but I really think that's why Josh McDaniels backed out of the trade. I think he could not get a guaranteed, hey, Luck's going to be here this year. Or he's going to be the future or whatever, because I just have a hard time believing that he would. I mean, I'm not saying that he wouldn't go stay with the Patriots, but let's be honest. When Belichick leaves, Brady's leaving. Or when Brady leaves, Belichick's leaving. I don't think Josh McDaniels is going to inherit the GOAT as his quarterback for the years to go. I think they're going to leave at the same time, and he's going to have to start all over. So there just must be something going on with the fact that he's not. I don't know. I'm more concerned. We're literally listening to this, and it's the exact same conversation that we heard last year at this exact same time of, oh, he'll be back. He'll be back. And then he's still not throwing a football. Oh, he'll be back for preseason. Nope. oh, he'll be back by week 6. That's why we're not doing the IR thing. Oh, well, he didn't play the whole year, so.
I just don't get why he's just not coming out and telling him his status. I mean, if we're in the middle of the year, I get it. It's some showmanship. You don't want the other team to know if you're really playing, how hurt you are. I get that. But we're in the beginning of the year. Just come out and tell us. Are you playing or not?
Can you handle the Duke or not?
Right.
Maybe quit calling it the Duke and pick up a football.
Really? Come on.
Well, technically, it says the Duke on the football.
It does. I do have to give him credit for that. He does at least call it the right name. However, he may not know who it is since it's been such a long time since he's seen it.
Well, there's one right there.
Right.
Pick this one up.
Oh, man. Anyways, on to the next one. Dez Bryant saga continues. I feel like it's like the Star Wars saga. It just continues to come out, new stories after story after story, and just you're never going to get to the end. So, but I just wonder, does he really regret not taking the 3-year deal from the Ravens at this point?
I mean, that sounds like a good deal. Seems like nobody's biting right now. I read an article last night that said he denied taking a spot with them in hopes that the Giants were going to sign him.
Ooh.
And the Giants passed on him.
Well, I mean, he still wants the 1-year play contract for purposes to make more money.
I don't think he's going to get an offer as good as 3-year, $21 million.
I don't either. But Jason Witten came out like a couple of days ago saying that he was it was some sort of like production interview conversation that he said that Dez was going to go to the Packers. Now, I don't believe that.
Well, they've came out since then. Packers said, they said, we have no interest in Dez Bryant.
Yep.
Well, yeah, you've got a top young athletic wide receiver like Devontae Adams. You just got rid of, simply another version of Dez, a less athletic version of Dez. How about that? Jordy was still a good wide receiver in the red zone, and so is Dez, but Dez is just more, in my opinion, at his age, he still is more athletic than Jordy, but Jordy's got better hands either way. But they went and drafted 2 wide receivers in the draft. They're going to throw the ball a ton, and they got Jimmy Graham. They don't need Dez, in my opinion.
Well, Rodgers didn't need the headache as
Well, that's what I was going to say. Dez and Aaron Rodgers would have been a bad combination.
Yeah.
Well, we said this offseason earlier on that Dez needed, if Dez is not going to go to, if he's not signing a regular, what do you want to call it, like a 3-year deal with the Ravens, that he needed to go to a pass-heavy offense. Well, there's only so many of those in the NFL that have really good quarterbacks attached to them. You got the Patriots. I don't see them taking him. The Saints, they've got enough firepower with what they want to do.
I still think the Texans are in a good spot.
I agree. They're loaded at wide receiver too. So I mean, they've got Fuller, they've got Hopkins, they've got Braxton Miller. I'm not saying that Braxton Miller is ahead of Dez Bryant. Yes, Dez Bryant would probably be the wide receiver 2 or 3 in that offense, but still,
I'd put him at the 2 and put Fuller at the 3.
Right. I mean,
That'd be nasty.
It is. It's just a lot. I'm just surprised that we're not hearing much from Dez Bryant's, like, his name out there. I'm not surprised that Dez and his people aren't saying stuff, because that's what they do. There's a lot of behind closed door meetings and stuff that we'll probably never know of, teams that they met with or didn't meet with. But I'm just surprised that it takes Jason Witten mentioning that Dez is going to the Packers to really stir up any more conversation about Dez. I mean, Dez has kind of fallen off the face of the earth in football world. I mean, outside of every great once in a while, it's like, did he get signed? Nope, he didn't get signed today. Okay, and then you move on. But anyways, all right. Eagles QB Carson Wentz, not medically cleared to play, but the Eagles will not rush him back. I do not believe this is the same situation as in Andrew Luck, where we're just kind of lingering in it. We won't know till the season. I personally think he's going to be back starting, like, he'll be ready to go for camp, in my opinion, in some fashion. He may not be a full go, but he's going to be back in some fashion. The only question is, there is a lot of, what do you want to call it, rumor mill, whatever, that some of the locker room really likes Nick Foles and wants him to be the guy. I've heard this. I've seen people make comments on social media saying that there's a lot of rumble in the locker room, potentially might be split 50-50 when Wentz comes back. And that's not what you want to hear.
It won't be. It's Wentz's team still.
I agree. It's his team. It just, when you hear these things come out of, like, beat writers from the Eagles and stuff like that, you're just like, oh, that's it. I guess beat writers don't typically throw out stuff to just cause clicks on their articles or whatever. That doesn't sound typical for them. That's something that's got they've heard it somewhere traction wise. So But I do think that with Wentz coming back with the type of injury that he did have, I think we're going to see a little bit more of the run game since they do have a stable of running backs, a plethora, if you will. So Terrence West did not sign with them.
Yeah,
we talked about it last week.
He's actually visiting Jacksonville.
He visited the Colts, and he's visiting Jacksonville. So
just taking the tour around all the teams
that need some sort of depth behind their stars. I mean, I guess not that Marlon Mack is a star, not that he's not. It's just he's not like a Fournette where
I'm glad they didn't sign.
Right, Fournette. They've got Yeldon. I mean, I don't know. Then Texans Deshaun Watson is on schedule to participate in training camp, which is a good thing for everybody involved in the Texan camp offensively.
True story.
Oh yeah,
and fantasy football wise. So the sky is definitely the limit for Deshaun Watson in this Texans offense. I mean, I've seen him go as high as first quarterback off the board, and I've not seen him go low. The lowest I think I've seen him go is around 4 or 5 quarterback wise off the board. So, and some people are like, "Are you kidding me?" I mean,
I'm seeing him 2 in all the mock drafts I am. He's right behind Aaron Rodgers.
Right. I've gone back and forth between him and Aaron Rodgers, where I've seen him in mock drafts consistently. But, I mean, and that's crazy to me I'm not saying that he's not good. I'm just saying to even put him in the talk where he may be drafted before an Aaron Rodgers is crazy to me because, I mean, he did have a good stretch of games before he got injured. Don't get me wrong, but I mean that's a small sample size. It's what he can do. That's the ceiling, in my opinion, for him. Like that type of game over and over and over. But I can't personally take him over an Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion.
Well, actually, I was looking over my rankings again. He's dropping even more for me. He's going to be out of my top 5.
I'd have to look at my rankings, but I'm pretty sure he's in my top 5. Like I think he's like right at 5, 6-ish, and that's just because I'm trying to figure out. I want to see what we're looking at when camp starts. If he's fully ready to go and he's playing and participating, as it says for camp, I'll probably put him in my top 4. I'll probably put him somewhere around 4.
Why is he dropping for you?
He's got a lot of turnovers in that short period of time, and if you actually go back and watch film on him and everything, his passes, the wide receivers he's got are great. I just think they helped him out a lot.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if I don't want to call it luck, but the numbers he put up he's never going to duplicate those numbers.
I think he could hit close. I mean, I think, like I said, I think that's his ceiling.
He was getting
So you think
the 3 weeks that I had him, he was getting 40+.
So you think he's a 4,500-yard passer? I mean, that's what we're looking at with those stats.
I'd have to look at his stats from last year.
That's what I'm saying. Well, put it this way. Cam Newton's only passed for 3,000 yards.
Right.
But he rushes for 700, and he puts TDs on the ground. That's why his value is what he is. So Deshaun wasn't running like that.
Right.
Now he's coming off his second ACL tear.
Right.
There might be issues there. It's a terrible line.
They were the 32nd out of 32nd last year by the end.
He does well on the run. That's what he does. When he scrambles and when things break down. But if he's constantly running now and with that 2 ACL tears, and if that's in the back of his mind, this could be I'm not going to call him he's not going to be a bust, but I'm saying that's why I see him dropping out of that top 5. Yeah, there's a huge risk there for me.
I think, but
yeah, especially if you're taking him as your second, as your first quarterback.
And that's what I mean. So if you're going to draft that much draft capital in him, if you're going to take him in the 4th round, 5th round, that's a lot to give up.
Yeah,
for a risk.
To me, I still think he's in the top 5, but I think that for me comfortably, I think I'd have to draft him around round 5 would be comfortable. I mean, not luck, but Aaron Rodgers is going like rounds 2 and 3 still, and then Watson's going somewhere around that 3rd round as well. I mean, it's Rodgers, Watson, Brady are going in that rounds
Russell
2 to
Wilson.
and Russell Wilson are going anywhere from rounds 2 to round 4, repetitively. So, and then it's Breeze, Matt Ryan, and those guys, and Jimmy G, and all those guys are kind of grouped together in that round 6 through like 9, and it just kind of depends. But where you're drafting Watson, it is a potential high risk, high reward. But I mean, sometimes, if you are comfortable and you like risking on quarterbacks, I like him, and I like the potential. That's the thing. The potential is so high, and you saw in such a short period of what he had and what he could do. And I don't think that nothing's changing. They didn't change any offensive linemen. If not, they got better maybe or healthier. They still have the same running game. Wide receivers are still the same. The tight end's still the same. I think you're literally walking right back into the same situation. And he's not walking into a situation like Dak Prescott where there's a looming situation over another key player within it. Like DeAndre Hopkins doesn't have a potential 6-game suspension coming or whatever the case may be. Plus, their defense isn't bad.
Well, yeah, but also the league has 7 games worth of film now.
True.
Which they didn't have before. So, I mean, you can scheme. I just think there's going to be a little bit of a sophomore slump. But still, I mean, we're still talking about a top 10.
Well, it's like
easily quarterback.
Like you said, when you study film, RG3, he had that tremendous rookie year.
Yep.
Kaepernick, when he first came on, he was very strong. Teams got used to seeing that.
I mean, Dak, even in his rookie, I mean, we were just like, wow, these guys are just blowing it up. And then you come back their sophomore year, and it's like,
yeah.
I mean, Wentz could even fall in this category when he comes back from his injury. We don't.
Well, he's going to be wearing a brace, and he's not going to be running a lot.
It's going to be change his game.
Right.
So.
all right, well. Then Cardinals running back David Johnson says he wants to get 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving. Now, he is coming off of the second injury plagued season, and I know there's a lot of concern around him as to if he can still produce at that high level. Now, I think if he's healthy, yeah, obviously, I think that's obvious. The talent, we know what it is. The problem is the wrist injury, and then the year before that it was the leg injury, the lower leg injury. I'm just saying it's a guy who's now he's going into his 4th year now. Yep. Right, so because he had the big rookie year, then he came back and he had a good second year, but he got injured towards the end, and then 3rd year last year he hurt his wrist like in the first week or whatever of the season. So I just think that a guy who is going to be completely relied upon, minus being Fitzgerald, and you've got the glass house of Sam Bradford that if anyone tosses a stone or blows a gust of wind in his direction, he's falling over.
Well, don't roll out Rosen yet.
Well, that's my thing. You don't know what you're getting in Rosen.
Start.
He won't start right away.
They're not going to pay Bradford $20 million to sit the bench.
Right.
True.
I just think it's going to take an injury to Sam Bradford, which probably
very well could happen. Yeah,
well, happened in his press conference.
Right. I'm just saying, David Johnson, if healthy, yes, I think he can eclipse 1,000 yards rushing, and I think I don't know, maybe you guys disagree, but do you think he can hit 1,000 and 1,000 if he stays healthy for 16 games? So total 2,000 yards.
I'd have to look at his stats from his rookie year. But I mean, he could probably get close.
I think he can get the rushing yards. I don't know if he'll get the passing yards.
Right. Well, that's why I guess
or
what I was saying.
Receiving yards, I should say, not passing.
The 1,000 yards rushing, I think is a definitely easy thing for him. The 1,000 yards rushing or receiving is where I'm like, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what type of offense they're going to be running in Bradford. If they're going to be running out of the gun.
Right.
Because let's be honest,
give him more time.
Right.
Yeah.
Bradford ain't going to be under center if they can help it. To give them some breathing room and be able to give him some life back there.
But I will say when he was throwing the ball to Cook, Cook was getting a ton of receiving yards for that short period of time. So maybe it's there. I don't know.
Well, there's only been 2 other players to do that, 1,000 yards rushing and receiving.
Yeah.
It was Roger Craig for the 49ers and Marshall Faulk for the Rams.
And that offense was unreal with Faulk.
The best show on turf or whatever.
Show on turf.
That was great. So I don't see that in Arizona right now.
No. I see the greatest running back on turf maybe, but that's a stretch. Let's see. Next one. Felony charges did end up dropped for the Jets wide receiver Robbie Anderson, so all Jets fans can take a deep breath and exhale and relax for a bit till Goodell comes in and gives 12-game suspension because he looked at him wrong. Resisting arrest with violence charges dropped. Misdemeanor charge, reckless driving, still in play. Says if he's convicted, Anderson could face 90 days in jail or 90 days of probation. My best guess is probably 90 days of probation.
Yep.
Good news though for the Jets, as they do need they need someone who's going to be knowing the offensive style. I mean, Anunwa is coming back. He is coming off of an injury with the neck. Anderson's going to probably be a primary target guy, and
they got Terrell Pryor.
Terrell Pryor is going to be figured in somewhere in that offense,
and they still got that rookie they drafted last year.
Right. So
forget his name.
Yeah, no, now it's slipping mine also.
But they've got Crowell, they've got Bilal Powell, they've got Sam Darnold is probably going to be your starter day one. So
they got a bunch of number 3s across the board.
True. So it'll be interesting, but I think Anderson could be a viable option in fantasy football purposes. I don't think I could have him as my wide receiver 1 or 2, I think, is a comfortable like a wide receiver 3 flex.
Whoa. Back up that wide receiver 1 talk. Come on.
You think he could be a wide receiver 1?
There's no way. Why do we even bring that up?
I have seen people talk about him being in the top 12 in PPR.
He's a deep league guy.
Yeah.
Like 16 team deep.
Okay,
I know it sounds crazy.
All 32 team deep. Yeah,
Right.
I got him at number 1 now.
Right. So ultimately, it's going to be a complete charade and just a giant dumpster fire again there in the Jets.
I think hope Sam Darnold just gets torn out the frame.
He's going to be.
That guy sucks.
He's unfortunately, I have a bad feeling that he's going to be learn on the job type of setup for him. So
go ahead. I was so hoping Cleveland would have drafted him. That would have just been perfect.
Yeah. So, but they did not, and the Jets now inherited.
So is that
Darnold.
saying something when Cleveland doesn't draft you? Let you go to the Jets? Ooh, not good.
Well, it just says they like Baker better.
True.
Which I don't blame them.
True.
I don't either.
Next one, it says Saints head coach Sean Payton states workload will not increase for running back Alvin Kamara during Ingram's absence.
I call bullcorn.
Bullcorn indeed. That is that's the new topping at Chipotle.
Get your bowl corn.
Jeez. Now, I don't think that he wants to overwork Kamara, obviously, but we all know when the proof's in the pudding. When there's nobody else, I mean, Scott's going to probably take some carries to kind of help out, but let's be honest, Alvin Kamara wasn't even hitting 50% of the snaps or carries last year, and he was still number, 4?
Yeah.
Running back, number 5 or 4, whatever. So I'm not too concerned with this. I think this is just a coach talk, and he's just obviously talking. I'm not worried about it.
When it comes down to it, he's going to have the ball.
Yeah. He'll be the guy in the backfield, whether it's out wide, it's under center, behind the quarterback, or it's to the right or left of him in the gun. So
it's hard not to get the best player on the field the ball.
Right. Michael Thomas and him.
Yep.
So let's be honest. It's not going to change.
Sean Payton did say, though, he's open to a Adrian Peterson reunion.
I think for depth purposes, I think they're going to want to see what Jonathan Williams and Boston Scott and some of these other guys do during camp before he really throws in the ticket to go get Old Faithful out of the garage.
Well,
so
if they come back for Adrian Peterson, I just hope he knows his role when he's coming in this time. He's not the bell cow guy.
Well, I would say if they get Adrian Peterson, does that spell trade for Mark Ingram?
Could be.
Could. Well, you know what? Well, you got to let that play out, see how it would work out first. I mean, we saw it work the first time. It was terrible.
Right.
So
when he comes back, it's going to be the same thing. But this time, he'll be past the trade deadline.
Truth. All right, and final news of the day. The hot Rumpke Browns are picked for HBO's Hard Knock TV show. So you'll get a first look at your overall number 1 draft pick, Baker Mayfield out of Oklahoma. Now, this is it's not as bad as the Madden curse, but it's up there. It says since Hard Knocks' first season, which was 2001, only 4 teams have made the playoffs that season following being featured on the show. Could the Browns join this group? Now, the teams that did make the playoffs that year was the Ravens, 2001, 2009, and 2013, the Bengals, 2010 was the Jets, 2015 were the Texans. Now, the teams that missed the playoffs were the Dallas Cowboys in 2002 and 2008, Chiefs in 2007, Dolphins in 2012, Falcons in 2014, Rams 2016, which that was just hard to watch, and 2017 the Tampa Bay dumpster fires.
True story.
Also known as the Bucs.
Cincinnati, call up HBO. Made the playoffs the last time we were on Hard Knocks.
Hey, right?
About the Jets. That was old butt fumble in 2010.
Mark Sanchez.
Let's not talk about it. He beat the Bengals.
He did. All right, that's all we got for the non-exciting fantasy news and notes. But let's go ahead and get into the main segment today, which is going to be our 2018 bold predictions.
Oh, hot.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It
gets the people going.
Bold predictions for 2018 presented by Fantasy Fateball, the one and only Magic 8 Ball for fantasy football. 20 custom answers to help you make those critical start-sit decisions in the Monday morning agony. Oh, goodness. Head over to fantasyfateball.com and use promo code HATEFUL8 for $5 off your purchase. You know what? Some bold predictions coming through. These could be some serious. I don't want to say like Chipotle hot burrito hot, but they're up there.
Man, I'm hungry now. Quit talking about Chipotle.
I know
Chipotle does sound good.
Some bull corn.
We need them to sponsor the show and just start giving us food.
Bull corn.
Free bowls. Give us some bowls.
Bowls. I like those burrito bowls. All right. So on to the 2018 bold predictions. We've gotten off so bad.
This is a good start to this segment.
I know. All right, Chipotle, I'm going to let you go first on this. Who is your 2018 bold predictions?
Oh, all right. Right out of the gate, my guy Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford.
You ready for this?
Yeah, Damon. Go for it.
Top 5 quarterback this year. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just let it sink in. Let it sink in.
I'm sorry. What year are we in? Go ahead.
Did Megatron come back?
No.
Okay. Go ahead. Please share with the group.
All right. Now, did you guys know that he's finished as the number 7 quarterback the last 2 seasons?
No.
I knew he did last year, but not 2 years ago.
I knew he was top 10, but I didn't know what.
No, he's been 7 twice. Ooh. So, and then under Jim Bob Cooter, offensive coordinator.
Name drop.
Boom. Jim Bob Cooter's thrown 65% passes in the last 3 seasons. So, he's gone 65 more, or his percentage that over a run is 65. So, I mean, it's definitely heavy on the run, or heavy on the pass.
Yeah, well.
So, that's in his favor. And also in those years, Stafford has finished in the top 10 in attempts, completions, yards, and has averaged at least 28 touchdowns.
Oh, that's.
And he has a top 5 wide receiver, and Marvin Jones.
Truth.
And then in the red zone last year, you know what the split was? Well, I know Blackburn knows. I told him last night.
What is it? Please share with the group.
78 pass attempts to 28 rush attempts.
Wow. Not bad.
I think that might change this year, though.
I agree. I know LeGarrette Blount's coming in, but
and Conley, not Conley.
Kerryon Johnson.
Kerryon Johnson. I want to call Gary.
But I'm saying
Conley.
for goal line purposes, I think Blunt's going to be the star of that show.
They had nobody worthwhile in the red zone last year. Abdullah and Riddick were really trying their best, but they just couldn't get across the line. So,
right. I listen. I can't argue that. That's kind of the only weakness here. But he's still throwing a ton of passes. I mean, that's what I like. Well, I love the volume. I love it. Just throw it around. And Kerryon Johnson's not going to be the bell cow back you're just going to hand it off to. Him and Theo Riddick, they're going to catch passes out of the backfield.
Abdullah is the odd man out, but I agree with you. I think Stafford has proven that they're going to throw the ball, and he likes to spread the ball out, and he likes to, now that there isn't a Megatron, he doesn't just look at just one guy the whole time. He is now...
But they got some receivers.
Diversified his portfolio with Marvin Jones and Golden Tate. And
Kenny Galladay. Don't
Kenny Galladay. I was getting ready to mention him. Don't worry,
I just keep thinking Theo Riddick. Remember that movie Riddick, where he was blind? Like, you can't find the end zone, Riddick. Get it?
There you go.
Well, maybe that's the reason why I had to go get running backs, because he can't find the end zone.
He can't find that white goal line. Anyways.
And don't forget, Luke Wilson. He's going to be a sneaky tight end. He'll fill in for Ebron. So.
Well, there's not much to fill in. Ebron wasn't doing a whole lot out there.
True story. I mean, he's right.
I mean, he was running the routes. He just wasn't doing anything outside of that. So.
But I like Stafford.
All right.
So, I mean, like I said, the kind of stat line I got him at right now, it's 386 completions, right around that 28, 29 touchdowns.
All right.
About 4,500 yards.
All right. I mean, I think it's doable for him. I mean, as long as they continue with, the type of offensive play and calling, and they don't really start relying heavily on the run with Blount and Johnson and Riddick or whoever else they throw into the mix. As long as they continue still to primarily throw the ball, I think that's definitely a possibility.
And also, look at the offenses in that division. I mean, they're going to have to score points.
True.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A lot of times they were playing from behind, so they're throwing a lot.
This is true. I mean,
how many fourth quarter comebacks did Matt Stafford have in the last couple of years?
I agree.
A lot, probably double digits, I would say. Okay, so who is your other bold prediction for this one?
Unfortunately, it's for my boy LaShawn McCoy.
Oh, good old Shady.
He's going to finish outside that RB1, and actually he's going to finish right around the 15 range, 15 to 20.
I agree.
I like that. I'm not on board with the LaShawn McCoy experience.
Here's what's crazy, though. You know, he's never finished outside the top 10. He's got 9 years running of the top 10, and the lowest finish was number 9.
Until this year.
Till now.
I kind of lump him into the same situation like DeMarco Murray was last year, where age plus the offense, and I just think that, I mean, DeMarco Murray was a little bit different. I think that he had Derrick Henry waiting in the wings, where LeSean McCoy is going to be, unfortunately for him. I mean, fortunately / unfortunately, he is going to be the offense in Buffalo, and I just think that he has shown signs of wearing down over the years.
Well, that's why I couldn't take him I couldn't drop him lower than that top 20 ranges, because the bulk of everything's going to be there. The volume's there across the board. It's just, I don't think it's going to be as much as he wants.
No.
I mean, his yards per carry were only at 4 yards per carry. That's the lowest in his career. That was last year.
Well, and the offensive line had lost some parts.
Oh, let's talk about that.
They lost 3 key parts.
Incognito?
Yeah.
Eric Woods, retirement. And then Cordy Glenn traded to Cincinnati. You know what they replaced it with? One tackle in the draft in the 5th round, projected to be a backup.
Rumpke.
And then look at the quarterbacks: McCarron, Nathan Peterman, Josh Allen.
Okay, well, Josh Allen's gonna be your starter.
Peterman's gonna be cooking up some hot turnovers while he's waiting on the bench.
Yeah,
but
and McCarron's gonna be like, I thought I was gonna get a start here, and I'm not.
No. And their wide receivers don't even make it better. Zay Jones, Kelvin Benjamin.
I like Benjamin.
I do, with the right quarterback.
But Zay Jones, not sold on him.
I like.
They still got Charles Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's decent.
But that's going to be your best pass option.
Yeah.
And I know people in the fan base were all complaining about Tyrod and not this and that. Tyrod took that hot garbage of an offense and put them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I just think that people are going to be really surprised when Tyrod Taylor's not the quarterback and they realize what they had versus what they've got now. I think Josh Allen can be something. I just think unfortunately I don't know, out of all the quarterbacks that were drafted, I don't know many of them that are going to be day one QB starter ready.
Josh Allen's is 2 years, 3 years away.
Right. I mean, I like the talent and the upside. He's got tons of it with the type of arm that he's got. I mean, you can't teach that type of throwing power. I mean, you can teach accuracy. That's easier than obviously this arm strength, but we'll see.
Well, anyways, and then so he is turning 30. That's kind of the big weight here too. No. And then I got to give credit to Fantasy Pros on this. They did a study, and then they give the percentages of where guys would finish once they hit the age of 30. Mm-hmm. Do you know what the top 5 percentage? Well, yeah, I know you can look right at it, can you?
Well, I can't read upside down.
So after 30, anyways, if you're going to finish in the top 5, it's 5.3%. Mm. Top 12, so your RB1, 13.2. And then once you get to RB2, it's like 31.6, and then it's like 44.7 for an RB3.
Yeah. There's only been a few 30-plus running backs that have defied the odds. Very minimal, though. You can count them on, one hand.
Frank Gore was one of them, too, and he's still in the league.
Yeah.
He did it at 32, though.
Well, it'll depend on what kind of hand you got. Jason Pierre-Paul can't count them on one hand.
Jeez. Oh, my gosh.
I'm just saying, we don't know.
This is true. That goes back to the point
Unless there was a midget running back.
Well, maybe he's using some toes.
Jeez. It goes back to the OBJ one-handed catch. Pierre-Paul with the three-finger interception. With the interception. So
it's dynamite.
So anyways, to clear that up, I got Stafford top 5, LeSean McCoy, and that
is bold.
15 to 20 range.
I like the McCoy one. I'm on board with you.
I like the McCoy one.
I knew you guys wouldn't be on board with the Stafford.
I just think LeGarrette Blount's going to get in there and
mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what we'll put it as.
How about comparing to Cam Newton? He threw for 1,000 more yards than Cam Newton last year. Problem is Cam Newton will rush for 700 some yards. Right. That's the difference. So.
All right. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go.
All right.
Right out the gate for me, my favorite quarterback, Tyrod Taylor.
I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked to see this.
I know.
I just look.
I think last year all I heard was Tyrod Taylor and Rumpke in the same set.
Well, you heard Tyrod Taylor and Browns and Rumpke together last year from me. Yeah. Well, he plays for the Browns now, so now he's total Rumpke. But I just think that with all the pieces around him, he's set up for instant success. If he starts the whole season, I think he'll be a top 10 quarterback.
I agree.
Last year he had just under 2,800 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, and only 4 picks. He also ran for 427 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, he went, like we just talked about, he went from Buffalo, which was sorry, to Cleveland, who on paper right now looks really good. They have a top 10 offensive line. They got Josh Gordon, Jarvis Landry, Corey Coleman, and Njoku, Hyde, Johnson. I mean, he's got weapons everywhere. And last year he finished as the 16th best quarterback with just Shady McCoy and Charles Clay. Now you add all these new weapons around him, plus his running ability. I think that'll boost him into that top 10.
Yeah, I agree. I can get on board with this one. I mean, if he can do what he did, like you said, 16th best quarterback last year with the only LaShawn McCoy and Charles Clay and whatever they were throwing out as the wide receivers.
Yeah, because they didn't get Kelvin Benjamin until the back half of the year.
Right.
And then he was hurt for a few games.
Right. So, I mean, they relied on a young Zay Jones and a couple other
Who did not produce.
No. So, I like this one. I think it can definitely happen. I mean, it is bold because it's
Cleveland.
Well, I was going to say, the bold part isn't Tyrod's ability because he clearly shown with less talent he can still accomplish a quarterback 2, a low-end quarter or high-end quarterback 2, but putting him in the top 10 is more so the bold part is because it's the Cleveland Browns. And they always seem to find a way to do something horrible.
One game in 2 years.
Yeah. Well, listen, I like it as long as he's got the touchdowns. The yards, he's going to be right. He's going to pass around 2,800. That's been his career number normally. So every year. And I still am finishing right outside that 10.
I can get on board if he starts all 16 games. I think he has definitely the potential to be a top 10 quarterback. But I mean, there is a lot of factors of banking on knowing, like you said, starting all 16 games is the first bullet point. Then are all these. I mean, we've seen it in the past where you've got all these talented players, but it sometimes doesn't gel for whatever reason.
Well, it's going to take time for it to gel.
Right. Yep. I will tell you, though, I know some people are going to be upset about this, but I think Jarvis Landry is going to be the wide receiver 1 by the end of the year in Cleveland, not Josh Gordon. I just think that Tyrod Taylor is going to just pepper Landry with tons of targets. I think Gordon is going to be a home run.
Pepper.
I think Gordon is going to get a lot of
you just LeBron James that?
Yeah, I did. 50-50 jump ball and or red zone targets, but I think that Landry is going to be the one that gets them down the field. So
I still like Njoku.
I do like Njoku. There's not been a lot of talk about him, though. I mean, he's kind of flying on the radar, but I have heard that Corey Coleman may be traded.
Ooh.
I've heard rumors his name is being shopped around to create space for the wide receiver crew. So, interesting enough.
Interesting. My next guy is Kyle Rudolph, tight end for the Vikings. Here's a bold prediction for you. He will be a top 3 tight end this year.
In Minnesota.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Never mind. I just meant on that team.
You're what?
I just meant on that team.
Oh, I thought you just meant like you thought.
No, it's going to be top 3 in the league.
Oh.
And here's why. Last year, he had 532 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns. This year, better quarterback, plain and simple. Okay? Cousins far ahead of Case Keenum. The offensive coordinator for the Vikings this year was the Eagles last season.
Ooh.
And look how they did with Zach Ertz last year and made him come on board. Now he's coming over to Minnesota. They got Rudolph sitting there.
Ooh.
They've already said they're going to implement him more, especially in the red zone. So I like that for him. And then last year he finished as the 6th best tight end with Case Keenum on board. This year you got Kirk Cousins. Well, he does spread it around, but they're going to look for him in the red zone.
Well, and Kirk Cousins loves to throw the ball to the tight end.
Absolutely.
Just ask Jordan Reed when he's healthy and
Vernon Davis.
Right. I mean, he reemerged and saved Vernon Davis's career the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying he made him relevant again, where he kind of fell off the earth for a point in
Kyle
time.
Rudolph's way better than Vernon Davis. So
this is true.
I really like Kyle Rudolph in the top 5, but I could see him sneaking into 3.
So who do you have as your?
So who's coming out of that 3?
Well,
all right. Well, I just put another note here. This isn't going to be popular by any means, but I'm going to say Travis Kelce's getting knocked out of the top 5.
Oh my dear Lord!
He gone.
What did you just do?
What's in that?
I am not
peach mango drink over there.
It's the good.
The
good.
I'm not a fan of Patrick Mahomes. Okay, and I think he is going to just try to throw it down the field mainly to Hill and Watkins, and Kelce's going to be the odd man out. So here's my top 5 tight ends for this year: Gronk, Ertz, Rudolph, Henry, and then with a 5A, 5B, I got Evan Ingram and Jimmy Graham. That's my 5 tight ends for this year.
Ooh, I like it. I mean, I do think that the that Alex Smith and Travis Kelce had some sort of like, I mean, it was kind of like the Tony Romo and Jason Witten.
Right.
It's a quarterback and a tight end that kind of came around in this league or kind of came onto the same team at the same time and kind of gelled. So, but a young quarterback with Pat Mahomes, I think he's going to throw the ball down the field more. He's not going to be a check down guy like Alex Smith was. So I agree with you. I think it's going to be a lot when you've got two speed receivers like Watkins and Hill. I see them throwing the ball a lot more, and that's what he did at Texas Tech. It was more of an air raid, 5 wide, go.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Like I said earlier, when you got the best player on the field, they get the ball, and Kelsey's one of the best.
I know he is, but I don't know. I think without Alex Smith being there, he's going to drop in production.
I think what's going to pick up for Travis Kelce is his red zone touchdowns. However, I think that the yardage is not going to be there because I think they're going to throw the ball down the field versus checkdowns. That was that was a lot of Travis Kelce's bread and butter was 5-6 yards. Oh my goodness, I just got a weather update. Sorry about that. Jeez.
There's a cloud.
There's a cloud over the sky. Thank you, Weather Channel.
It's a Nimbostratus cloud.
This.
I don't know where to take this.
I'm not a science guy.
Anyways, I didn't even know about the Duke.
Meteorologist over here.
Your bull.
It's your bull. I just think that Travis Kelce is going to get more touchdowns maybe, but I think the yardage is going to drop off because Pat Mahomes isn't going to dump it down to him a lot. So I agree with you. I like
it. I can't wait till we come circle around to this one. This will be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. And listening to it a year after the 2017 bold predictions, it's some of it's cringing, but some of it's pretty cool to see how they panned out.
I look back at last year. I said Jameis Winston was going to be a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, but you also said wide receiver wise, Thielen was going to be one that you talked about. But
you guys all talked about top 5 quarterbacks.
Only one happened, but that's neither here nor there. Who was it? But DeMarco Murray that's a crazy situation. I think, like I said, that's why I think that this LaShawn McCoy situation is a definite potential of happening. So, now my bold predictions are going to upset some people. The Kareem Hunt truthers, be prepared. Hold on to your seat. If you don't want to hear negativity towards your boy Kareem Hunt, please turn off the show.
Man, it's anti-Chief Day.
It is, apparently. If your name's not Tyreek Hill. Now, I've got him not finishing any higher than running back 13-14. No higher. So I've got him as a high-end running back 2 where he's being drafted somewhere in like the top 5, top 6 right now. Based on his 2017 stats, he had 325 touches, 80% of the team touches, which is about 20 touches a game. Now, he did have 242 fantasy points, which finished him just above Alvin Kamara, which is 15 fantasy points a game, and he finished as the running back 3 in standard. Now, he was taking 65% of the snaps. Next closest was Charkandrick West with 26%. So way over he was 15% more than the halfway of just a 50-50 split. Now, in 2017, there wasn't a Spencer Ware. He got hurt, and we talked about it a couple shows ago that Spencer Ware was the guy, and it was going to be Kareem Hunt was going to be filtered in at some point. I think this is what we're going to see, but in the reverse. I think Kareem Hunt's going to be the guy, but I think Spencer Ware is going to be filtered in throughout the year. So, now, in 2016, Ware had 247 touches, which is 53% of the snaps, and 160 fantasy points. West had 35% of the snaps, which got him to 66 fantasy points, which is a total of 363 total fantasy points or touches for 226 fantasy points. So, do you see Kareem Hunt had 242 fantasy points by himself last year. Now, in 2016, with Ware and West kind of splitting the carries, they totaled to 226 fantasy points. So, pretty close. Then you go to 2015, where it was West's year to play. He had 49% of the snaps. Charles had 26% of the snaps. Ware had 15% of the snaps, which was a total of 268 fantasy points for all three of them to combined. So the numbers are pretty safe, high or low. You're not going up above the 260s, and you're not getting much lower than the 220s. So, and Kareem Hunt at 242 by himself with nobody else in the backfield, really. I mean, Charkandrick West stepped in, like I said, 26% snaps, but really it was Kareem Hunt's show with no Spencer Ware. So, now the new offensive coordinator, Eric, I'm going to butcher this, Bieniemy, which was previously the running back coach since 2013. So, I'm just saying. So you've got proof of what how he runs the running backs, And if he's got more than one option, he's going to use all of his options versus last year where it was just Kareem Hunt. So Eric Bieniemy is your new offense coordinator replacing Nagy, who is now the head coach over in Chicago. So
Eric sleeping with Bieniemy.
Sleeping with Bieniemy. I
That's
like it.
That's a Chris Berman reference for you guys.
The Raiders.
The Raiders. Oh, man. Chris Berman was good.
I know.
New generation's going to miss out on him. Oh, so like I said, I just think that based on all of this, I think that they're going to, I think with a new offensive coordinator, a new young quarterback, I just think in the type of the style that the quarterback is, plus the coordinator likes to mix in as many running backs as possible if he's got the option to when healthy. I have a hard time believing that you're not going to see a committee in some fashion. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be like 50-50 between him and Spencer Ware, but I do think it's going to bring down the 65 snap count or percent snap count. I think it's going to be closer to the 50 mark. I think it's going to be about 55 to 40-ish.
So you're saying he's not going to be higher than RB14?
Correct. I think he's around RB13, RB14 this year. I know. It does leave a little sour taste in your mouth. Just saying.
He's thinking over there.
I mean, trends are trends and numbers
I got him
are numbers.
in that 7 to 10-ish.
So
we're on the same page. No, I won't drop him out of the top 10.
Well, I'm on my own.
This is why it's the bold prediction.
I'm on my own.
I'm the only one that's got Travis Kelce probably out of the top 5.
Probably. I don't think I do.
Heck, I'm the only one like Stafford.
Apparently.
Just in general.
In general, in life. Great guy. All right, so my final bold prediction for 2018 is going to be Hunter Henry, the tight end for the Chargers, will finish as a top 5 tight end. So 2018 or 2017 stats, mind you, we haven't had 2018 season yet. 2017 stats, 62 targets versus Gates, who had 52 targets, 82 fantasy points, which is about 6 fantasy points a game, finishes the tight end 12 still in standard. Now, he did have 65% of the snaps, where Gates had 47% of the snaps. In 2017, I have Antonio Gates was with the team. He's no longer with the team. So it is Hunter Henry's show, I guess you could say. It's his platform now. So
his shebang.
There you go, shebang. Isn't that a song?
Shebang. Yeah, it's William Hahn.
There you go, from
Like
American
it.
Idol. That's there you go. I like it.
The only
2006.
thing I thought about was Family Guy. Shapoopy.
Oh, man, that's a good show. 2016, Hunter Henry, 53 targets, 53% of the snaps, and 94.2 fantasy points, where Gates had 93 targets, 54% of the snaps, and he ended up getting 94.8 fantasy points, which is a total of 189 fantasy points and 146 total targets, which now will go to all Hunter Henry, I'm assuming. So now in 2015, it was Gates and Ladarius Green, as we all remember him, who played but really didn't play for the Steelers after leaving the Chargers. Gates had 93 fantasy points, where Green had 66 fantasy points, a total of 148 total targets for them. So about the same as with Henry and Gates, and 159 fantasy points. So about 30 points less. I mean, it's not a drastic drop, but the main point is the last time there was one sole tight end in the Chargers offense with Phillip Rivers was 2014, and that was Antonio Gates, obviously. Had 98 targets, 72% of the snaps for 154 fantasy points, and finishes the tight end 2 behind one only Rob Gronkowski, a.k.a. the Gronk.
Gronksta.
So I'm just saying that is...
That's good. I'm on board with this. I got him as my number 4 guy.
And Phillip Rivers is still the quarterback. It's still his show. He is still going to do what he's been doing for the past 15 years. So...
Right.
I'm just saying I just like Hunter Henry's upside. We've talked about this since he came into the league. We said once Antonio Gates leaves, he is going to be one of those top 5 tight ends to be drafted. He's going to fill in. He's going to be the next generation of guys that you're going to draft. I mean, eventually he's going to probably be a number 1 tight end overall drafted. I mean, when Gronk and Kelce and some of these guys kind of taper off and in their careers, he's gonna be young enough to still be in that tight end. I mean, the tight end 1 drafted at some point. I mean, him and Ingram are going to be guys that you're going to be going 1 and 2 for the next couple years. Honestly, once some of these bigger name guys kind of fall off. So
yeah, I mean, you can tell right now we only agree on Gronk here. Everything else is cloudy. So I mean, anyone could take a he could go for top 5, and the heck, he could be 2.
I mean, when Gates was in his prime, it was Gronk and Gates in some fashion, depending on your your personal preference. But I mean, and I think the last couple of years it's been Gronk, Kelsey, Graham, and Ertz now has been thrown into the pile. I mean, Jimmy Graham was there for a couple of years. I mean, Jordan Reed when he was consistently healthy for those first couple of years. I mean, you see the guys that are, it's the same kind of named guys in those top 5, top 6 talk pretty much every year in some fashion, and depending on what the offense is doing or not, that's what you're getting. So,
yep, I like it.
All right, well, those are some of the 2018 bold predictions that we've got for this year. We'll have to write those down, make sure we got them for the end of the year. So, yeah. So, anything else?
Nope.
All right. Just want to tell you guys thanks again for all of you tuning into today's show, whether that's via the podcast or on YouTube. Please check out our site, thehateful8ff.com, where you can check out our articles and apparel. Follow our personal accounts at jpickleTH8FF, at jblackburnTH8FF, and at ftrimTH8FF. Don't forget to join the Average Joe Nation via our Patreon tab on the site, where you can sign up and pre-order the 2018 draft loadout, as well as the in-season weekly help once the season starts. Finally, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which we have eclipsed the 300 mark in such a short time, which is cool to see.
We appreciate that.
Yes. So just want to tell you guys thanks again. And if you do want to get to the store, we do have polos now available, as you can see. Nice, comfortable sports polos.
Comfy. I like them.
For the summer months, whether you're golfing or just going to the family barbecues, look good while you're out there.
Oh, yeah.
So, oh, yeah. All right. Anything else?
Nah.
Just, hey, comment below on our YouTube channel or DM us, whatever you want to do. Let us know where we went right, where we went wrong, where you like us, where you think we're crazy.
Yes.
Anything. Just comment below.
I'm going to be revamping our Instagram page, too, so we'll be out there in that platform as well.
Yep. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
One more time. There ain't no one like these 3. You know you just heard Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli. Get the goods talking about nothing but fantasy football. Yeah, it's your year to dominate and to wear that ring. Prepare for the draft and dial in on your craft. Quarterback the first round is a good choice, you ask? This guy's got first round pick, a favorite? Not so fast. He failed to tune into Hateful Eight. He's a chump finishing last.